Welcome to Yono. Today we're going to be doing something a little special. It's April 1st, and we're going to be telling you an April Fool's story. Okay? And this is something that happened to us in real life, and we thought we'd share the story, pass it off. My buddy here who's sitting next to me was willing to talk about it finally or whatever. We're not going to be showing our faces or whatever, because the things we're going to be talking about do carry legal penalties. So I'm going to let him take over until we can't his side of what happened.
I can't begin without telling the story without letting you know who's all involved. I have this friend named, we're going to call him B. And B also like going to hiking and woods and stuff with us. And he also brought his 3 kids with us a lot of the times. And these kids used to troop it the whole day with us. So me, Mash, and B are going on this long all-day trip, and it was about, I want to say 7 or 8 at night, and it was just starting to get dark. But you know, in the woods, 7 or 8 o'clock at night seems already 10 o'clock because you're underneath all these damn trees. So it's already pretty dark outside. So at this point, we have our flashlights out. The kids are tired. We're ready to go home. But no, the way B is very ambitious, or likes to push it to the limit when it comes to being out in the woods. And what I mean to that is going to different trails, purposely getting lost, or and dragging his kids along, and it's kind of messed up. So we're ready to head home, and we get to a cross fork in the road, and we notice the one cross fork has a gate in front of it, and it says I think, what was it, gate 19, gate 11. It was something crazy, right? Kind of demonic. Yeah, it was weird. But obviously the trail that was leading that way was not meant for us to be on. It had a gate crossed off, and it said private property. The other trail actually started to lead home, the direction we needed to go. So we, as me, Mash, and Brian, we all sat there. We had a discussion, what we would like to do. We saw a little bit of sunlight left in the day. We could have stayed out longer, but we sat there and discussed about it, and we all settled on the agreement of going onto that path and spending a little bit more time out. So once we actually got onto this path and we're on it for a good amount of time, it's about dark at this point. It's so dark to the point where you're not going to see what's in front of you. All we could see basically was the tree and the trail. So we each all had flashlights out in front of us, and you all being adults in the woods with 3 scared little kids, you kind of you get nervous. Anything can happen at that point in the woods, and especially we were miles away from the city. So it's kind of nerve-wracking being in the woods in them conditions. It's scary. So when you traveled enough down these woods, we started to notice there was a lot of branches and trees and logs purposely put purposely over the path. Basically, you were like walking through bushes the whole time because all the trees were laying down,
something to slow you down,
pointing up. So you were just walking through branches pointing upwards the whole time for a good 1.5 miles. And me and Max look back at B and tell him, something's weird about this trail. Obviously, we're not on it. Something put all these branches and trees on this path, basically telling us we're not supposed to be here. And something was very off about B that night. He was extremely motivated and determined to continue forward, regardless of the situation of what Mash wanted or even what his kids wanted. So I take the lead. I take the lead in front of the kids. B's in the back, all the way in the back with his kids. Mash is in the middle. So Mash warns me, he's starting to feel what I feel. We're not meant to be here. We should start heading home. We should start turning back. But as we progress, it is B who's falling behind, and it's understandable. He has his kids. His kids are tired. It's a long day, but he was the one who wanted to go push forward on this trail to begin with. He was the one who wanted to. He knew it was dark. He knew his kids were tired, and it was something was pulling him to continue to go. Yeah. So after about a good 1.5 miles of trudging through knocked over trees, we hit a dead end. Now Mash is about a few feet behind me, and it is dark. And to save battery, I had the flashlight off just to save it for a little bit. When I walked a few feet after stopping the flashlight, I noticed through the dark there was
something on the trail,
a makeshift fence
Yeah.
It was, and what I mean by fences, it was somebody purposely stuck wood and sticks in the ground and crossed them, and had sticks lay across on those to block off the trail. Now, at this point, I'm confused, and I feel Mash's hand stop on my chest as telling me, don't go any further, stop. And as me and Mash continue to look through the darkness to see what we see, I start noticing there's deer skulls or animal skulls, skeletons hanging on trees and on this makeshift fence. And as we try to focus clearer through the night, behind the tree that was directly behind the makeshift fence, I would want to say it was a type of demon or some type of alien that was taller than me, about 6'9", 6'10", had incredibly long arms and legs. It was standing behind the tree, and it almost had yellow eyes in a way. It was weird, and by the time it noticed me and Mash, it lifted its arm to, like, I guess, direct us to go. And me and Mash booked it. We started turning around and we booked it. And when that happened, from us running so fast and stumbling through all the trees and sticks, Mash tripped and lost his cell phone, his knife, and survival gear while we were out. Next thing I know, Mash is passing me to catch up to B. Now B, we as two grown adults, as adult and mature as we are, frantically explaining to this other adult, there's something over there. We have to go. This is dangerous. We shouldn't be here. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. He was pretty calm. He was almost to a state of him not being there.
Yeah, he sounded like a zombie.
Yeah, it was almost like a zombie state, like he was in a trance almost.
Like, relax.
Relax, guys. Let's go. And then Mash is like,
kids were freaking out.
Your kids are freaking out, man. We gotta go.
They were saying he wasn't acting like himself.
And then again, all being adults in that situation, me and Mash had to realize there's kids. So we realized, we collected ourselves after a long time and realized we have to be calm for these kids.
It was only a few moments. I actually was going to leave you guys behind.
And there were multiple times on the way. After convincing B to walk back with us, it was an argument and a half. He wanted to continue down other different paths or go down other ways. And in reality, he was slowly taking us back to that path.
Yeah. So eventually we jumped off a 20-foot cliff. We just started jumping cliffs.
Mash decided this is BS. No more trails. We're just gonna go straight down the mountain. We could clearly see the bottom of the mountain.
Yep, I was like, I can land. We can just run. We really got far.
He said, forget it. We're gonna just go right down the mountain. So
actually, our first plan was to go to the railroad tracks.
But the railroad tracks were at the bottom of the mountain.
That's when we jumped. Yep.
Yeah. So going straight down the mountain with no trails, there was a few ridges in between trails and distances. So Mash again was like, I'm not going through trails. This is gonna take too much time. Let's jump it. So with them being 3 kids there, Mash picked up one of the kids and tucked him to his chest and jumped and landed. It was about 20 feet, 30 feet, and Mash honestly cleared the jump and he got
landed safe.
It was a safe, but it was a bang.
Yeah.
He got up, dusted the kid off. He was fine. Encouraged me to also do it, which at this point I'm scared. I want to get out. I'll do what I have to do to get out the woods at this point. That's how scared I was. I picked up one of B's kids and jump off with him. So now at this point I got me, Mash, and B's 2 kids down.
And we're about to take that last leap.
And we're trying to convince B and his other kid to jump with us. Let's go. Let's go. What B ends up doing is leaving us in the woods for a good 40 minutes and continues down the trail. And me and Mash are standing in the woods with his 2 other kids about to leave him. Now, I'm willing to stay and wait for him because something has to happen. It was even to the point where Mash was ready to leave me and the kids because he wasn't ready to let Brian be responsible for anything. He was ready to let himself be responsible, which is fine.
I said I was going to go back. I said if I have to go, I'm going to go back and get help and come back. And wherever it is, I'm going to go fast and tell your wife what's going on. Tell Brian's wife what's going on or whatever, and
eventually George ended up sticking around because he knew we had kids and there was safety in numbers.
Yeah.
And him going out alone, there might have been the best thing. So again, there was train tracks at the bottom of the mountain, and when we hit them train tracks to follow the train tracks all the way straight to town. So the train tracks are almost like ground zero for us. You understand? We had to get to the train. We had to get to the train tracks.
Yeah.
So I'm not lying to you. About a football field length away from the tracks, I noticed the woods was incredibly quiet, and I don't mean quiet in the sense of I didn't hear other people or nothing. I didn't hear a bird. I didn't hear people rustling through grass. I didn't hear. It was honestly incredibly scary to hear dead silence in the woods. So then, being so close to the train tracks, you usually hear the trains, or you hear, and it being dark, you see the lights on the trains. Now, I'm looking in the distance towards the long end of the train tracks, and I noticed a light on the train tracks, and
it dropped out the sky.
It did drop out the sky.
Dropped out the sky. It was a ball of light.
But from a distance, from far away.
Ball of light dropped out the sky. Yeah, from distance.
So it started following the train tracks like this, and the light was directed at the train tracks for a long time.
It was scanning the train tracks.
Then once it got to our proximity of area, the light started switching like this. Started scanning the tracks. Eventually going off the tracks into the woods.
Yeah.
Like that. Now, what I noticed and what scared me was, again, the silence, and two, the fact that this supposed train or whatever was following the tracks was acting like it was a train, but was really, I would like to say, a UFO that was shining light down onto the tracks, acting like a train. And again, it was the silence. It wasn't just us that was scared. It was everything in the woods that was scared and concerned at the same time, and that was an incredible feeling.
Yeah,
you understand?
That was the most,
and that was probably one of the most scariest part was the silence and the fact that everything responded at that same time to what was going on.
Yeah.
So eventually,
we went in a different course, different direction. We ended up going to walk around to get out way farther and away out of we went out of the way. Sorry about that. Our camera kicked off.
Okay, so at this point, we're at the train tracks. We see that light. It's quiet. Now, another thing that bothered me about this supposed train was the train made no noise either. If it was a train, you would think you would hear, some type of noise, some type of movement, some type of chugga.
No
It was nothing. It was, and we were, like I said, only maybe 100 yards away from it. So we decided that honestly, whatever that was, anticipated us to be at them train tracks. They knew where we were heading. They knew where we were going. So we decided to not even go to the train tracks, to continue actually on a trail following the same direction as the train tracks. Now, after hitting that, we had a good still, I want to say 5 miles back to town through woods. And again, it's completely dark. So after
the kids are scared.
The kids are scared to the point where
we didn't even say it was a UFO. We didn't say nothing.
No.
The kids were the one who said it was a UFO when they was dropping out. They were like, "Yo, that's a UFO."
That was a UFO.
And the kids did not see what we saw because they were around the bend on the trail, still a little far behind us and stuff. So they didn't get to see what we got to see. They didn't know where we were running from.
Now, mind
they
you,
didn't know we could have been running from a bear, from a cougar, from anything.
That's true.
So
the thing is, B, again, this whole time is disappointed. He's upset we're leaving. He wants to stay.
He wants to keep going.
He wants to keep going while we're only even on the way home. He's trying to go on different trails to throw us off, to prolong the whole thing, and it just seemed incredibly odd and stupid that he would want to continue, knowing that we were out, honestly, guys, probably since the morning, and it was already about. We got home at 10. So after we got home before Brian, didn't we leave him at some point?
Yeah.
Yeah, at some point, once we got close enough to the city, me and Max had to leave him. We took his kids with us and left him because he was on another. He didn't want to leave the woods.
Yeah, he was on some other shit.
He did, and it was almost seemed like, I want to say, a possession or some type of mind control to lead us and his family.
He kept trying to calm us.
And telling us we were crazy or there was something wrong with us, or
And we never said what we saw.
No, and honestly, to this day, he does not like to talk about it. He doesn't like to refer to it. He doesn't like to.
I'm glad that you were able to talk about it on camera.
I'm glad I could talk about it too because it needs to be exposed. Yeah. A lot of people need to be more open-minded to the fact that there is other things out there, and
there's a lot more I can talk about and say too if I wanted.
I mean, what makes this story so scary is how close it was to our city. Yeah. Like we were the woods, the woods is
in your backyard.
And it's right in your backyard. Exactly my point. It is right in your backyard. And the thing about the woods out there is, we'll be miles away, deep submerged in woods, and there'll be private driveways to people's houses out there, to buildings that private companies and private stuff that will tell you
not supposed to
that's
be
not
there.
supposed. What is it doing out there? And on top of that, these weird phenomenons happen out there. And what makes it another thing is the city that we're from has an incredibly high rate of military. All the time, I can look into the sky all the time and see military grade helicopters and military grade trucks driving through our streets.
And they're supposed to be inactive.
And Reading is a small town. And it's weird. So the message and the moral of the story is honestly keep your mind open, keep your eyes open.
Yeah, keep your eyes open, man. There's more out there than people like to believe or want to believe. I mean, I think the truth is a lot scarier than people could understand. I don't know.
And George is right. The truth is scary, and honestly, a lot of people will close their mind to the truth because of that fear. At the end of the day, and you need to stop letting that fear get you.
Yeah. After this happened to us, I had about for a whole year anxiety. I wouldn't even go in the woods if I seen bushes. If I seen bushes, if I was gonna walk past bushes, even in the city or anywhere, and any township. If I seen bushes, I would cross the street.
Me too.
If I seen a bush, even if it was half the size of my body, I'm crossing the street.
To be honest, I don't think I've been back to that area of the woods.
I did. I went back.
Yeah, I remember.
I went back and I seen a lot more. I seen what was there. I don't want to talk about it.
No, thank you. I'm alright.
Yeah.
I'm alright though. But as again, YouTube, have a great day.
Yeah.
Stay aware. Stay awake.
April Fools.
April Fools.
April Fools. Since I took my buddy to such a bad place in the past, I'm going to take him to a really good place in the past, and we're going to play with some Pogs.
Super nostalgic.
Yep, we're going to play some Pogs. We're going to play a game of baseball. And I'm going to show you the Pogs right now and what's in here.
You got a pretty cool collection. Look how vintage that is, man. That's old school. Look at it. Look at the graphic art on that. Does it got a year on it?
Slammers. Plastic slammers. Alright. We're going to set up a lot of Pogs. We're going to set up the game of baseball. Flip a coin. Heads or tails?
Tails. Tails never fails.
Okay, go ahead. Flip it.
Okay, tails is beginning.
Yeah, alright.
Cool.
Heads. Yep. I guess I'm back first.
Okay.
We're going to do 3 innings.
3 innings? Alright,
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, third base.
My first player, okay. Third base.
Yeah, third base.
Okay, very good.
Good move.
Player on third. Okay, let me get my next batter up. Set him up. Get my next batter up there. See if I can get him. Where is it from? Yeah, see if we can get him home. Nope.
Strike one.
Yeah, strike one.
First base.
First base, they move over, so I got 1 point. Okay.
Yep.
And
I have a big start.
yeah, that's fine. I got 1 point. Here, let me see your pen. Right here. You know that yet, yeah. Let's see. Straight one.
With a ball.
Yeah, ball. Straight two. This is terrible. I hit it and nothing flipped over. Strike 3.
Nothing flipped over?
Nope, that's an out.
Alright.
Go ahead.
I really like the color. I enjoy it. Like a little bit of blue in it with the gray, which honestly complements each other really nicely. The length is perfect for me considering my big hand. That's always good for me. A good guess of length in my palm. I like the weight. It's really flexible, really smooth. I like that. It's almost like water. Like I'm playing with water through my hands, or sand. You understand? Really slick, smooth, nice weight to it. I can throw it around pretty easily. Again, it's the length that suits me so well. Again, it's really stylish. It's like I like the gray. But yeah, I had a great day. Great review. I look forward to more.